So before we get started, I just want to make sure that you have nominated this year's Bob Awards. Go to bobawards.com, BOBE awards.com, so you can nominate, get tickets, sponsorship info, all that good stuff. And you can also find that information at theundergroundlube.com, so you can find all your news, theundergroundlube.com. Make sure you subscribe for free. So today, you're not sitting to Saturdays with my Keisha. Of course, I'm your host, and I get to spend the day with. You're so cool to me.
Oh, thank you.
So, she is a vocalist here from Louisville. From Louisville?
No,
not Louisville. You're from Kentucky.
Carrollton, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yes.
And you go by the name of girl Kiana Dell.
Yes, ma'am.
The Kiana Dell. You used to be with, you used to have a band.
Yes. Kiana and the Sun Kings. We were together for about 6 years. It was like a jazz fusion group. It was a really beautiful way for me to start my music career.
Oh,
I'm very grateful to that group. Yeah.
That's nice to put it that way. A very beautiful way to start your music career.
Yeah, it was.
Nice. And so, so you are also a radio host at 90.5,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, I don't want to say it wrong,
WUOL.
WUOL. And so you have the afternoon spot there from 3 to 6.
That's right. Yes. I fell into it. I am the music education manager there, and I was hired in 2020. So my very lovely supervisor, Daniel Gillum, asked me if I'd ever been in radio before, and I was like, no. And he was like, are you interested? And I was like, kind of, because I'm a performer. So I thought like, oh, okay, I'll be able to sort of get the hang of this. So he started training me in 2020, and over the course of that year, I started learning more about being on air and all of the things that entails. So.
And you have such a good voice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
You kind of have to get used to hearing yourself, because sometimes I hear myself back and I'm like, is that what I sound like? Mm-hmm. And we do air checks. So once a week, my supervisor will pick a random hour and we'll listen, and he'll give me feedback and constructive criticism. And so that's difficult to get into, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because even with these, it's hard for me to even go back and listen to myself. Like, oh. But okay, yes. And so that's a neat way to get introduced to radio.
Yes, yeah, it was unexpected, but I'm really, really glad that I had that opportunity and still do.
And how long have you been with radio?
It'll be 5 years in October.
Wow. Yeah. Jeez. And so there's a show you do there called The Music Box.
That's right. That's our children's music education podcast. Yes.
Oh, you're just so cute.
Thank you.
And so I listened to a few of the episodes, and I think it's just so cool how you pull other kids in from different. I think it was Bloom Elementary.
Yes. In season 7,
and just to get some of the reactions from the children.
Yeah, I thought it was really important for the students to be able to hear themselves and hear their peers, and to know that these things are accessible to them, podcasting and these types of careers, acting, things like that. So it's really important to make sure that we got young voices on the podcast.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, were you in any special programs or anything? Because you weren't in Louisville.
Yes, I was all up and through it. My mom had me in ballet, tap, and jazz from the time I was like 4 to the time I was 7. 7 is when I started piano lessons. And I was kind of doing voice lessons then, but when you're that young, it's difficult to really retain anything. So I say that I started my formal vocal study at 12, because I think that's when I actually started to take it seriously. I was going to my lessons weekly. I was really diving into the work.
Oh my goodness.
And then by 13, I was in a local to Carrollton, Kentucky performance group, and we traveled regionally. So we would go to like the Swiss Wine Festival in VV and the local fair and things like that.
At the age of 12?
13, but yes.
13? Oh,
yep. And so that's when I really started performing in front of people.
Are you still nervous now?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes, and it's odd, because you think that after, over half my life performing, that I wouldn't get nervous, but there's just something about it. Like, there's those pre-stage jitters. I try to redirect it to excitement now, but yeah, definitely.
What are some of the things you do to help get rid of those jitters? Girl, help me.
I love a deep breathing technique, especially as a vocalist. Like, if that's like an exercise, kind of count your breaths in for 4 and then out for 6. And that like regulates your nervous system internally, but also kind of like just gets your mind in gear. Affirmations, I'm like, I am fully prepared. I am that girl. I know all the lyrics. I have affirmations that I tell myself, be like, I look really good, things like that.
Okay, I do that. Yeah, those are some things.
Yeah.
You got this.
And I used to do that with my band. I think when I first had them do it, they were like, more of this woo-woo stuff. Like, I was the girl with, like, the Palo Santo in our practice space. I was like, let's set our intentions. But then as we did it before every single performance, it was almost like a bonding thing that we did, and it really did, like, help uplift us. No matter what mood we were in before we stepped on that stage, we set the tone for what the performance was going to be like.
Building morale.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly, setting intention.
So jazz. I wonder, so what got you into the type of music that you're in now?
That's a great question. I love that question. I played trumpet all through high school. I was in marching band.
I was too.
Really?
Yeah, I played the flute, something girly.
Okay,
so I could break it up and like hide it in my backpack.
Exactly. No, I was loud, proud, boisterous, like trying to like swing with the best of them.
Hard.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I played for 6 years, and in concert band, you know, especially being in a small school, they're very limited budget-wise to the type of music that they can buy. They're recycling music from before. So there's a lot of old white composers. And jazz was the first time that I can recall, like, looking up a player and being like, oh, they look like me. Like, Louis Armstrong, okay. Ella Fitzgerald, okay. Miles Davis, cool. And I remember, like, the more that I dug into jazz history, the more that it was Black history. You know, I was, like, seeing myself reflected in the music. And so then I joined jazz band at the age of 16, and I started kind of really focusing on trumpet then, and I was like, sure, I was going to play trumpet in college. And then when I got to college, I auditioned on trumpet even. I was like, oh, I cannot give this instrument the time and the dedication that it needs at the collegiate level. I was big fish, little pond in high school, but when it came to that, I was like, this is not what I'm meant to be doing. Singing has always been my calling. I've been singing since I was young, so that's when I switched my primary instrument from trumpet to voice, and the rest is history. I stuck with jazz.
So how did you make that first transition?
It wasn't easy. I remember my mentor, Dave Clark, he's now the director of jazz studies at U of L. I sat in his office crying, and I was like, what does this mean about my identity? Because I had set my sights on, I was going to be a trumpet player, you know? Like, okay, I can sing, I can do a little bit of both, but at the end of the day, I had really built my idea of my future around that, and so it was difficult. I definitely was seeking a lot of guidance, but ultimately, like, singing is my calling. It's something I couldn't ignore. It was something I always came back to, something that came naturally to me and made me feel better.
Yeah. So what was one of the first things you did?
I changed
into a choir, or?
I changed my primary instrument in school, so that changes your track of study. So instead of studying privately with the trumpet professor, then I was with the classical voice department.
Oh, so what school was this?
At Bellarmine.
Okay.
So I was kind of splitting my time between learning jazz theory with Dave, my mentor, and then with the vocal department at Bellarmine. It was a lot more formal study. So I was studying classically. As far as my private lessons went, I was doing vocal juries and things like that, which is kind of like you prepare a piece of music and literally sing it in front of a jury of your professor. It was very scary.
Oh my goodness,
so it really just kind of changed the way that my music study was happening.
Okay, and then when you got with the band?
Yes, actually we met in college, most of us. We got together to play my senior recital, and then I was like, hey, this is kind of great. Like, do you all want to maybe start playing some gigs?
So what was this senior recital?
So it's like a culmination of your work. They have you put together like arrange pieces. So like I chose some jazz standards and added horn parts and some vocal parts in some of them, and you perform it in front of your friends and family and your professors as kind of like your final project.
Wow.
And so that's originally why we got the group together, but we really we had a chemistry about us, so we ended up staying together. We got our first regular gig. It was every Saturday at this local spot that no longer exists, and now that I look back on how much we were being paid, I was like, ooh, that was a little, but it was great.
It was your first.
Yes, and we got to cut our teeth in a way that was really unique to, you got thrown in the fire, you know, so, yeah.
Nice. And so now you're a vocalist. You're
Yes.
just a vocalist.
Yes.
And you actually have the TedXTalk coming up.
That's right.
Girl.
Yes. It's funny, I think they originally reached out to me as Kiana and the Sun Kings, and they wanted the band to come and perform, but at that time I was like, well, you know, we aren't playing together anymore. I would love to still be a part of this because I am a radio host and a teacher, and there's a lot that I felt like I could get out of it. And they thought that I was going to be performing at first, and then I sit in the first draft of my talk, which is kind of like a mix of a cappella singing and not really a lecture, but I'm giving information about what I'm singing and how singing can help you improve with your voice and everything. And so they were like, this isn't exactly what we pictured, but this is great, so keep it. They gave me some feedback on it, and we worked on the draft, and that's kind of how it happened.
Right, singing and talking.
Exactly. Nice. So I was like, okay, I will perform a little bit, but I got something to say.
I like that for you.
Yes. So it's really beautiful to be able to mix both of my worlds like that as an educator and as a musician.
So that's coming up in February?
Yes,
well, February now.
I know.
Happy Black History.
Happy Black History Month. Yes, it's February 21st.
Okay. And where is this? Where are we?
It'll be at Bellarmine University. I think TEDx Bellarmine has an Instagram. You can find out more about it there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Kudos to you.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited.
Ooh. Yay. And so you're also doing your singing your voice lessons now.
I am. I just reopened my vocal studio. When I started to focus more on my work with Louisville Public Media, I did have to kind of step back there, and especially with the band and LPM and lessons, my schedule was getting crazy. I couldn't really be the educator I wanted to be, but now I have a little bit of extra time. People have been asking, so I've opened my vocal studio again very recently.
Okay, so where is the studio and what ages?
So I teach ages 8 and up, 8 to 99. And I teach privately out of my home, but also through Bellarmine. They have a prep program that a friend of mine runs, so I'm trying to get in with them and use their studio there.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we have that coming up. And then I wanted to ask you, I almost lost my look at my notes. I haven't looked at this the whole time. I noticed that even though this was a few years back, you did an event for Black History Month where you brought I think it was at like Whirling Tiger or something.
Yes, that was through the Louisville Jazz Initiative.
Yes.
And the Louisville Federation of Musicians, our musicians union. And I know.
All these things we know nothing about.
I know. And I was very lucky to be able to bring together some really talented Black musicians from Louisville and beyond. And they, we picked some jazz standards, picked some musicians to look up to and to talk about, like Nina Simone, Robert Glasper, some people past and present in jazz that are still influencing us as musicians, and we really showcased the music and showcased those players, and then I had the chance to share this really talented band of musicians that I was able to pull together, so it was awesome.
Yeah, that was neat of you.
Yes.
And I think you did that for Black History Month.
I did. Yeah, I did. We did one for Jazz Appreciation Month in April, and then Black History Month in February before that, so.
Okay, and so we got your TedXTalk coming up. Your classes you can sign up for now.
Yes, that's right.
And how do we sign up?
That'll be, you can email me at kianadellmusic@gmail.com. Or it'll also be on my Instagram at Kiana Dell Music. I was working on the Canva graphic this morning.
I'm always working on so many graphics. Girl. So many graphics. Social media has us in a chokehold.
It really does.
It does. And we can't
I understand why it's a whole job. Social media manager.
Girl, because they do charge like $3,000 a month.
And it's not for the faint of heart.
Okay, and then we can catch you on the radio Monday through Friday.
That's right, Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
And so
I'm on air right now.
Right.
It's recording. So
I'm like
2 places at once.
Oh, that is so beautiful for you. Now, talk about the type of music that is on your radio station if people don't know. Because a lot of my viewers, maybe they're just into R&B, but don't beat me up. They're like, Markeisha. But maybe they don't know.
Yes, so 90.5 WUOL is our local classical station. So it's a lot of course, the classics, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Johann Sebastian Bach, but my supervisor is very intentional about ensuring that we are playing marginalized composers like William Grant Still and Florence Price, Tanya Leon. He has taught me so much about Black classical music and just who to highlight there. So I'm always like, if I have too much, my boss watches this, sorry Daniel, if I have too much Beethoven in an hour, I'll like throw it out and replace it with a Black composer. Just because I'm like, I want to use this platform to showcase us more. So yeah. It's really been a privilege to get to know the world of classical music more. It's definitely expanded how I listen.
Yeah, because low-key, I don't know any of the names that you just said. And it makes me sad. And I want to know more. So thank you for bringing that attention.
For sure. Listen between 3 and 6, and it'll be just like this, like we're having a conversation.
Because I do listen to that channel sometimes. But it's like when I'm working and I want to hear, but I've never paid attention to the host. I'm just really, I'm just not paying attention.
Now you'll tune in a little bit. Like,
yes. Is that my girl?
Yes. And then we can also learn a lot more about our local classical scene, too. We talk a lot about the orchestra concerts and smaller local groups that are playing, too. It's really exciting.
Yeah, because I feel like I saw you. I said Kentucky Performing Arts, but you said no.
It may have been. I played for an event that they did, the Festival of Faiths. That was at KPA. I performed with the Louisville Orchestra before, so that was at KPA. So there's like a couple things.
When you perform with the orchestra, how does that go?
Ooh, that was I'm so grateful for that experience. We had the privilege of doing one of their Music Without Borders concerts. So that's when they choose a local group. They hired an arranger to arrange, I think it was 3 or 4 of our original songs. And then we got to perform the Kiana and the Sun Kings music with the orchestra. So we had the band in front of the orchestra. I've also had the privilege of just being a featured vocalist with them too. So they were doing a March Madness concert last year, and they were choosing songs about sports, and so I was able to sing one called I Get a Kick Out of You by Cole Porter, which is a great jazz standard. So it was kind of a mix of my worlds too. I mean, I was with the Louisville Orchestra, we were singing a little bit of classic jazz, it was nice. But just through my connections through work, really. I'm always out there. I will go to like 3 shows in a night. I'm like, hi, I'm Kiana Dell. I'm Kiana Dell. I'm like trying to make sure everybody knows who I am. So I think just showing up and people seeing my face and hearing my name and they're like, oh, okay. And
that's what it is.
We'll check her out.
Yeah, because I saw you somewhere. I'm like, we have to do an interview.
Exactly.
You're so cool.
Exactly.
And your name is have such a branded name.
Oh,
Kiana Dell.
Thank you.
I'm Kiana Dell. Girl, this is Kiana Dell I have on.
See?
Like, it's a brand.
It's a Kiana Dell original.
So, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And you helped to showcase. There's, when you think of doing music, you kind of just think of just being an artist. And I guess just being an artist or a producer, but there's so many different ways that you can make a living.
Yes.
From music.
Like a myriad of ways. I think that we are given this idea that either you are a performing artist, you're a performing artist that's struggling, or you're a performing artist that hits it big and you find a consistent gig, or you're a teacher. But there is just so much, and I try to tell my students this too, that I would have never imagined when I was a freshman in college that I would be working in radio. You know, arts administration and radio and management and all of these things that are open to you as a musician. It just depends on what part of the world you want to be in. And I have been very lucky to kind of dip my toe in different ponds of the music world.
And you stood strong in what you wanted. Like when it came to the trumpet, you said, even though I based my whole life on this, but you know what?
I was like, this is not what I was meant to do. And the universe told me, quick. Quick.
So yes, listening to yourself.
Yes, that's important.
Any other advice? I know you gotta go. Oh, I just got a new watch because I'm always late.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, a watch.
Oh, like, what time is it?
We are 4 minutes past. So
that's okay.
I'm gonna be on time, you guys. This year.
I'm
so excited.
I didn't even notice.
Girl, that's why I'm always late. Me talking. So,
but yes, show up. Believe in yourself, listen to yourself. If you know that you have a calling, you have it, and do what it takes. Explore all kinds of different avenues to get yourself there and keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Practice and drink water.
Yes. All right. Well, anything you want to say before we go?
That's all. Thank you so much. You can follow me at Kiana Dell Music.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, make sure you go to theundergroundlou.com to subscribe to the paper, get all your news that's positive and whatnot, find everything to do and whatnot. And then go to the bobeawards.com, so BOBE awards.com. Nominate, get your tickets, got to vote soon. And I love you all for watching. I'll see you next time on Saturdays at my Keisha.
If you do nothing else.
Nothing else.
If you do 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 nothing else.
Stay live.